Hi, Kim.
Hey, Sherry. Hey, let me ask you how your Halloween was last night.
It was different. It was
Like,
it was different than what it used to be.
hmm
And there were parts of it that were a little scary, and there were parts of it that worked out fine.
yeah.
How about you?
Well, I'm working the election center right now, so I got home a little late. It was way past dark when I got home, and most of the there weren't a whole lot out on the street, so I think most of them were gone by the time I got home anyway. But this weird thing, I don't know if this is an Arizona thing or if this is a new trend, but there were fireworks going off, like the big booming ones.
Fireworks.
Fireworks, like for Halloween. Can't we just wait until like July for that kind of thing?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, and I'm sure as far as my dogs are concerned, yes, that would be perfect. We didn't
Yeah.
we didn't have fireworks, but we did have in my neighborhood we had, and I'm in Florida. I don't know if it's a Florida thing. We had all of the families out with drink stands for adults.
hmm
Like entire liquor cabinets out in your
Yeah.
yard.
We used to do that here in my area too. We would have the parents would go by and there would be a cooler. It's like parent treats. And then yeah, sometimes parents would come by a couple of times, but that's okay.
Well, I mean, like I get it, I guess, but it's also like you're driving, so maybe not. Maybe like
Oh, see, we don't drive. We walk big. We
yeah,
have good chunks of neighborhood areas where we
now
can walk.
I'm not gonna lie. There were quite a few people who what they were driving were golf carts, but still, I'm
Yep. We have the golf cart thing down here too.
maybe not.
Yeah. And
Um,
some of them would decorate them up and they would be really fun. But yeah, it's been kind of sad the last couple of years. Just not a whole lot of kids coming out.
no, it seems to be like it's shifting from more like to young adults,
hmm
and it's I don't know. I think it's also gotten a lot more gory and a lot less. It's not very kid friendly.
Yeah, that's true. I got a really interesting education on it the other day though, about how it used to be a very religious kind of ceremonial thing where because it was the thinning of the veil between the dark world and the light world during the harvest time, and that people would wear costumes to confuse the spirits that were
Right.
trying to come and steal them. So it was, but then it was, and then it turned into, of course, very secular because certain populations took away the religious part of it, and that's when it becomes secular and pagan like, and it's like, well, that's sad. So it had a nice start.
Yeah, it did, and like jack o' lanterns, the whole again with
Hmm.
using
Yeah.
they were set out as protection from
Hmm.
wandering spirits, and then like the whole idea of the treats. Also, people would leave little treats at their door for the spirits. One,
Right, yeah, that was part.
yeah, as part of like if you were dressed up, you went ahead and took a treat because you're trying to confuse the spirits and fit in. So
Right.
yeah,
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 I
no,
thought that was really interesting.
I remember having a conversation many, many years ago with somebody who was trying to tell me that Halloween was Satan's birthday. And I'm like, don't you actually have to ever be born in order to have a birthday? Just
Right.
on that one out there. I mean, like,
Yeah, it's weird how all the rumor kind of things start and how different trends start because of di-
trends. I like
not knowing the truth, I guess.
right. And trends. Hey, let's touch base with trends for a minute.
Right.
Okay, so I think you're a lot more well versed on this part of like some of like what the labels are. Uh,
Hmm.
but like this was a trend one of my clients threw at me, and I was like, "What? I don't even know what that is." So we're doing couples counseling, and they told me that they're doing a lot of body doubling, and I said, what?" Because I'm thinking like body doubling used to mean that would like Julia Roberts. She didn't want to do a full frontal noodle scene.
Right, right, right.
She, has a body double come in. I'm thinking, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, that's a whole different world that I'm not.
Yeah, body doubling is apparently now the idea that you're spending time together in the same room doing different things. And I was like, you didn't invent that just by slapping a name on it, because that's not what that means. That's just like you're just spending time together. But I also learned that in the teaching world, they're calling it body doubling when you've got a kiddo who's so out of control that they're, like they need a one-on-one, which is that's what back in the day we used to call it, you get a one-on-one.
Right. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
now they're calling it body doubling. I think that this is so here's the question. Is it a trend to invent new trends? Is that I mean, like, look at all the trends with parenting.
Apparently. Yeah. Well, it feels like people are looking for something new and different. So they slap a new name on it and they think they've invented something new, you
Exactly.
know?
Yes.
And why everything has to have a label? Why does everything have to be like a new label? And I just think it goes back to a much broader issue of when you control the language, you control the narrative kind of things.
Sure,
So if
that's
we label something as friendly, then it sounds good and we should do it. But if we label it as naughty, then we should stay away from it. And it depends on who's labeling it and who's defining that label.
that's a very interesting observation. And it makes me like the my brain goes to like, isn't this like the same generation, the same people, or maybe I'm a generation off. And but like, there was a huge period of time where, oh my God, don't label anything, don't diagnose anything because you're putting a label on me.
Don't label me. Don't label me. Yeah,
And now
exactly.
everything has a label and everybody has a label and so is that part of a new trend? Is that, or are we just like,
Well, I don't want to throw out names because I don't have permission to like talk about anybody out of turn, but I did hear somebody say that all of these labels, you're not you're not trying to understand the other person's point of view, you're trying to diagnose them. I think we have a bunch of people who are always trying to diagnose things because we slap a label on it like immediately. Because as soon as I don't agree with whatever it is that's going on, I immediately get a label that I'm a racist or I'm a bigot or I'm um
okay,
well, case in point, I was doing this the other day about education. Somebody was talking about the standards in education, and I was saying it's not the standards really per se that are the problem, it's the delivery of the standards. And immediately I was a bigot. I wasn't trying to include all students, that I was being racist and I was leaving students out. And like, whoa, all students are capable of learning at high levels. All students have access to education. What world are you living in when some students don't have access to education? What on earth?
that
What world are you living in that that happens?
right.
So,
Okay. That's interesting because yeah,
because immediately I'm labeled as something that I'm never have been.
but then like back to the idea then that the standard, like, how, why do we not have like, where did the idea go that we can't have universal standards? I mean, like, if we look at laws, like,
Mm-hmm,
I don't care whether you're on a bicycle, a motorcycle, or a car, the speed limit is for
mm-hmm,
anything on the road.
mm-hmm. That's the standard. And
Right.
why do you, yeah, but as soon
So
as you,
just because I'm on a motorcycle, that means that I don't have to follow that standard. I can go 80 on a 30.
mhm. And then if I don't think it's okay for you to go 80 and a 30, I'm motorcycle phobia. I don't like motorcycles. It's like, oh, honey, if you knew, been to Sturgis a couple times, I'm okay with the motorcycle.
Uh,
But it's the labeling thing, and I guess maybe you can answer this one is like, why are we so hell bent on labeling everything?
okay, so like from what I see in my practice, what I'm seeing is that being able to put a label on it reduces anxiety. So if I can easily categorize, then that alleviates some of the fear. And unfortunately, a lot of that fear is also like being artificially generated. So I'm more likely to go with a negative label because that's that number one, that's what I'm hearing. But
Uh-huh.
that also very clearly, I mean, like we talk about, I think the word judgmental has gotten a really bad rap for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you think about it, like oh, and don't be judgmental. And I tell my clients, don't be stupid, be judgmental. Like you see something going like this in the grass, and it goes. Kss. I judge that to be a nope rope and a possible poisonous animal that's going to kill me, and I judge that to be, something I need to be cautious with.
Yeah, I'm judging. I'm running right about now.
Right. Well, I've actually chopped up garden hoses because that, I wish I was making that up, but who makes a garden hose look like that? What is wrong with them? Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the whole idea that if I slap a label on it, then I can understand it more quickly. I can
Mm-hmm.
categorize it. I can judge it. Because as much as we want to pretend that we're open minded, and we can be, you can be open minded and judgmental at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Call that discernment, right?
And we're having such a hard time with that because, and I've noticed this with in the classroom, more and more students are so reluctant to have an opinion on something
Right.
because they feel like they're being judgmental or they're going to be seen as judgmental
Or be judged.
or be judged because of their opinion. Yeah.
Right.
And they all want to be so vanilla and so non-committal to anything that there's
Well,
just there's
no,
no opinion.
and like as much as we try to stay out of it because it's a hot mess right now. The whole like politics is kind of flavoring a lot of things, and so the again like labels are a quick way to
Mm-hmm.
decide, like
Yeah.
where do I fit with you and your ideology? Where do I fit in with, where do you fit with my ideology? And unfortunately,
Yeah.
what I'm seeing is that a lot of times it's being applied incorrectly. And so you're trying to like make a connection and like quickly figure out like, can we be friends? But because you're using the wrong criteria to screen for this judgment, then
Mm-hmm.
we get and that's how and like what I see like happening when I talk to parents is kind of the same kind of thing where they're so concerned about that being judged. They're so
Yep.
but they also love their children and are really, really
Absolutely.
trying to be deeply involved and really
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
so then things are getting out of whack because they're focusing on the wrong things. They're being told to focus on the wrong things. And so like I think it's kind of easy to just kind of get it's just off a little bit.
Yeah.
But then you only have to be off a little bit and then it's such chaos at home and in school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I wonder if so what something that you had said kind of makes me wonder about that whole judgment. So when these new parents were in school or when they were kids, whatever, they felt so judged that they turned to these different trends or different labels in parenting because they want to do so they want so badly to do right by their own children because they felt like they were so slighted that they're turning to these different labels, trends to offset how they felt.
I think that's a reasonable assumption. I think, like, and this is back, like some of the conversations that we've had about how, Gen Xers, how we've completely destroyed the world because,
Ruin the world.
yeah, it's all on us, and I'm sure there's going to be a way to trace the Titanic back to us as well.
I'm sure. Oh,
But like the whole idea of the like the participation ribbons and the trophies for last place and all of these things that were done from a very well-meaning, well-intentioned, the idea that oh this is going to help self-esteem, but in reality all of the kids that got them, if you talk to any of them, they're like it was garbage, it meant nothing, it actually made me feel worse.
yeah. Yeah, including the kids who came in last, they knew they were just being given one and they felt bad about that.
Right, exactly. So, so now those are the people who are becoming parents that are like, I'm going to make sure that my kid's self-esteem never, blah, blah, blah. And so here we go, like you've said it before. I'm sure you're going to say it again, the pendulum.
Yeah, swings back.
It swings back.
Yeah.
Real quick, I want to just throw this out there for anybody listening. We are curious, okay? Kim and I are looking to figure out like what's going on. How can we help that pendulum get back a little more quickly? I'm gonna like share our screen real quick, and I want to put up. Um, oh,
While you're searching for that, I think I'll just kind of explain a little bit that the
yes,
survey is because we have heard so much about, sorry about the label, but the gentle parenting and what a great success it is and why everybody should be doing it. But then we're also hearing that it might not be the success that people thought. And I'm wondering if, or we're wondering if it's not actually causing more anxiety. So we want to know just how is gentle parenting helping you to relieve anxiety as a parent? Because we
or
worry so much. Are we doing it right? Am I a good parent?
is it helping or not? What
Right.
parts of it are working? Because
Mhm.
I'm sure there are parts of it where this is a beautiful thing that is like doing amazing things, but I'm also
It
worried about
sounds great. Everybody wants to be a gentle, caring parent. We all are gentle, caring parents. But I'm just wondering if the parameters and the all of the strategies that are used aren't
exactly.
causing more anxiety,
And
you
like
know?
real quick, because we're almost, I want to wrap it up real quick here. There should be a QR code that's going to take you to our survey. Per the ethical guidelines, we have to give you like the worst case scenario, and so the time that we have estimated this to take would be if you were trying to read it backwards with one eye covered. Okay, so you can just chop those estimates by a long a long period. We've had people test drive this survey for us, and it took them about 10 to 15 minutes. So we're actually not looking at a very huge time investment, but we would love it if you would help contribute to this body of knowledge. So I'm gonna leave the QR code up here. And Kim, did you have anything that you wanted to add real quick?
Just wanted to add that there is a question in that survey that because we would love to actually hear from you and
Oh,
sit down
good.
and have a conversation with you.
Yes.
So go ahead and reply yes to that, and we'll get back to you.
All right. Well, for now, just
Yeah,
parent. Parenting is not a trend.
it is not a trend, and just parent.
All right. That, and then I'm going to stop the recording.